Alright, so downtown Old Town. How's it going? And let's see, it's April 11th, 2018. Around 3:40 p.m. In downtown Oroville, just went to the post office to send a letter to my student loans. So I'm walking through downtown, old downtown. Wanted to make a video. Was gonna make a video last night, but just really didn't want to. I'm running low on energy, so I'm trying to get everything ready. Finishing up some artwork stuff and get ready to go to the bay. Kind of an overcasted day. But what's weird is, these video blogs really do take a lot of energy to make another one after I just did those last ones. It's taxing. So I'm gonna try to get through this. I wanted to say about some others. Each one of these are getting difficult. I kind of want to talk about stuff about. There's so much, normal stuff to talk about. So I kind of need to talk about this other stuff. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's different when I'm actually by myself talking than it is talking in public. So I don't know. The reason that it's trippy about Oroville is because I had some dreams, right? I'm sitting on this bench. Oh, not lately, but so I believe some of these dreams, like I guess let's talk about, okay, so dreams and man, looking old. So dreams from when my whole life, I don't know if I already talked about this, but so the last blog was about growing up, living places, and the other ones were about people, and the other one was about drama. So yeah, these are easier to make when I'm just chilling. But the reason I wanted to make it in downtown Oroville was because I had this dream, and I keep telling people these dreams. Like, I had a group of dreams when I was younger. Whatever they mean, the question is, do they have any relevance to anything? And that's the question, and I think so. Oh, but I'm tired and I don't feel like explaining it, so I don't even know why I'm making this video. So let's see. It's actually pretty interesting because I haven't been downtown for a long time, and there's this, like, what is that? So I guess this is like a art place. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, so dreams. How do I? So we all have like deja vus, right? So deja vus, and then the question is, does it matter in reality what they mean? And it's crazy because I'm walking by Hauser's music. I just came over here the other day. I guess Sarah, Isaiah's mom, her dad was really good friends with Dave. He played music. They're Old Town Oroville folk, and I guess he just passed away not too long ago. And my old friend, guitar player guy, Matt used to teach lessons, or get lessons and then teach lessons, and then so it's a pretty interesting happening. So it's kind of weird. So one of my dreams was about downtown Oroville. So I wanted to draw these out or explain it. The thing with dreams is, they're abstract and they're like they have meaning, whether it's your subconscious or supernatural connection to the universe, to the future, to the past, whatever. So that's an interesting thing with dreams. So I have a thing where there's been a lot of coincidences, or things come true in your dream. So that's part of the thing where I'm trying to say about some of my circumstances. I don't know, maybe not, who knows, but I personally had dreams and it's similar to art, like you're creating something. I don't know. Art reaches that level where it can be something more than just a pretty picture. It can have meaning for the whole world, kind of thing. Insight to reality. What is reality? So I'm kind of having trouble expressing myself right now. Like I feel really tired, but this is one of the things I need to say so that so let's see, how do I say it? Actually, I don't even know what I want to say. It's easier talking about other things in the daytime, I guess. So let's see. So let me talk about Oroville. Let's see. So there's a mural over here about Ishi. And the thing with this situation as well is there's Ishi, right? Ishi is the last Indian that supposedly was in the wild, right? So they have painting of him here, and they talk about him in the schools. And so when I was here, that's what they talked about. When I first got here, that's what they thought I was a Native American, which I pretty much am. But you know, I considered myself, and still, you know, the Mexican thing. So at the time, it was more prevalent, the divide of, you know, hey, you're Mexican or you're Native American. You can't be both. I think lately there has been change in the reality of what that means for our own people. You know, realizing that, you know, Mexicans and we're different tribes, but there's Ishi right there. So I had long hair when I moved over here, right? And I was, you know, 13. So I was going to school in Central, which it's kind of a bigger school than the one I was used to. And I don't know. So I ended up cutting my hair. I think I said this already, but because I got kind of bullied by the culture. So around here is a gold mine, you know, it's called Oroville. So it's really known for its gold mine place, and Marysville is also known for that. So what I noticed around here was there was an issue with the white folk and the Native Americans around here. You know, the Native Americans were kind of bullied at the time. They weren't really part of the society, the main group of people around here. And you know, it's kind of changed because of the casinos. They kind of made the casinos, and you know, it's changed for a while. It's been a few years since Idle No More happened, and you know, it's kind of mainstream. So now everybody's kind of, there was like a lot of fear mongering of the 2012 stuff, and so I think a lot of the culture was, it's funny because I could see this in part of like Sarah, Brian, her husband at the time, my son's stepdad, was like, yeah, you know, I used to be in the tribe, or you know, I used to like go to the powwows and have part of my blood is Native American, and so but he was kind of blonde and stuff, you know. His name's Sullivan, you know. Sarah still, you know, keeps her name Sullivan, and you know, Isaiah was gonna get a tattoo because he had Vera on one side and he was gonna get the Sullivan on the other side. So I don't know. So that's like a Irish name. So basically at the time, during this time, everyone was kind of like anti, like, it's almost like, what do you call it, like Lord of the Rings stuff. Like Lord of the Rings was popular at the time, and so in that movie, it's like, and the guy that wrote it, they were kind of white people based, like European. It's a very European movie, right? And so, you know, you got the elves and you got the humans, and then you have the orcs and whatever those other things are. You know, kind of look like black people and little Mexican people. I mean, you can look at it a few different ways, but that, you know, that's kind of what I didn't think about at the time. I like the movies. I watched the movies. They were good. Matrix was out at the same time, so they were kind of competing, and it kind of took the fire away from Matrix Part 2 and Part 3. So by the time 3 came out, Lord of the Rings was dominating. So but looking more into the history, like the Led Zeppelin stuff, where the guy was a writer and he was kind of, it was kind of like pro-white, like it was kind of like dark magic, and like, or the guy talks, Jimmy Page, and those guys were into I don't know what the word is, but they were into like what they call it, black magic or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but so, and that has to do with like Scottish people, right? And so people were referencing like Indiana Jones and Star Wars at the time when I was teaching at Butte. They were really into that, and they were coming around me, and when I was doing my murals, and they were really like questioning everything that was in my murals and asking about whole Mayan stuff. And so when I was on Facebook during that time, they this one guy, he was local, and around here there's like these, they call them hippies, I guess, like, but kind of like new agey kind of people. So these guys were really into like new age stuff, like yoga and crystals, and Shasta. I guess Shasta Mountain is known for having aliens. I don't know what that means, like something about there's a whole story about these different kinds of I forget what they call them, druid, like not druids, but there's like, what are those things on your grass knolls, like those little guys with the hats or whatever. So they believe there's these short aliens, I guess. So that was going on. So I guess Shasta is really known for that, and so the mountain, Shasta Mountain, I guess in the Native American idea, was known for its they call it the beginning of mankind. So I don't know. So there's a lot of, basically what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of history of Native American history here in this area, and the people that live here, the cowboy people, and the hippie people, were really inquisitive towards me about what I thought about it. And the I Don't Know More movement was happening, and a lot of stuff was happening as far as racial divides and brown people and white people and the border and all. There's a million things, weed growing, a lot of changes have been going on. So the internet changed things because people were able to research it, and I was one of them. I was researching some of this stuff that I didn't know about. Not really researching, but like this one guy, white dude, had this Aztec dude with wings, and this was like after 2009. So this was like around 2011, 2012. So these people were already talking about me and discussing me, about stuff, my life, and all this stuff, unbeknownst to me. I was dealing with my girlfriends and girl I love, being in love and heartbroken, and raising my kid and trying to be an artist, and painting murals and stuff. I've always been into like my culture, so I was trying to do my comic books and stuff, and pay my bills. So all this other drama I didn't know about, but I was playing music around town too and art shows. So, but on the internet, so this guy was like posting stuff on Facebook after I friended a bunch of people in Chico. I didn't know all these people, but when I started doing shows, I was like, oh, well, you know, this person knows this person, this person. So I was friending everyone and going to the art shows and the music shows. And so this guy was posting like this esoteric stuff, or you know, this stuff like about crystals, and not really just crystals, but Native American stuff, kind of like you know, so there's some stories that I was like, oh, you know, 2012 stuff, kind of like things I didn't know, you know, I was like, oh, what is that, you know, what is that? So one of them was let's see, one of them was, okay, so this is what I learned. So the Mayans and the Aztec stuff, I already kind of was, I don't believe that they did any more human sacrificing than other tribes and groups of people in the world. Like, you know, if you go through history, a lot of the people did that at one time or another. You know, African culture, European culture, whatever, Chinese culture, like. So, but I believe that the Aztecs got the brunt of that because maybe it was part of something, maybe towards the end of their culture, I don't know, maybe it did, but some of those drawings were from Spanish people, and basically the Spanish, when they first came, they were like, hey, you know, this place is awesome, it's like one of the best cities I've ever seen in my life. So that had nothing but good things, talking about their gardens and their peaceful people. They were saying pretty much they're, you know, so as far as like their warlike and killing, like their weapons weren't even super warlike. Their weapons were like, I guess they were supposed to capture people, so like breaking your leg or being able to sneak up on people, like, so it wasn't like as violent as they make it out. And what the thing with colonizing a place is, you want them to hate themselves and love your stuff. So that's the goal. So you demonize their culture and their religion and the way they look, and you want them to look like you. So cutting your hair and or whatever, and like you know, shaving your face, or I don't know what it was, but just basically like the Romans did it. So like English does it, speaking your language, following your religion, using your money. So all this stuff is a way to break down a culture. So making them eat cannibals and telling their history where they're evil is part of colonizing somebody. So that's some of my beliefs of my research of the Aztec culture and the Mayan culture. So I don't know, like really human nature, humans are specific to being humans. So I'm not gonna try and talk too much about that, because it's not really something that is available in the history books, and I don't have the knowledge of what is available, but what I've seen and heard, it's really limited. Our books have been burnt, our libraries have been destroyed, so we don't have access to the knowledge anymore of our culture. So that's part of also breaking down the people and colonizing them. So one of the other things, and this is Native American stuff, not really Mayan stuff, but like there was a few things, and they kind of coincide with the Bible stuff too, and some of them do. So there's something in the Bible somewhere was towards the end of the time or end of the world or whatever, there was supposed to be like 3 days of night or 3 days of day or something in the Bible, and in the Mayan they're like say there's 3 days of the opposite of night. So, but if you're on the opposite side of the world, when if the world stops turning or whatever, that could happen, theoretically. So one of the theories was there's going to be like a meteor, asteroid or whatever that's going to pass through, and it's going to change it's going to have enough gravity to change the trajectory of the Earth's turning. So the thing with that is like the dinosaurs, right? So you got all these dinosaur movies and alien movies and all this stuff after the Lord of the Rings. Like they concentrated on like aliens. Like all the superhero movies are about aliens. Star Wars, all this stuff. Like Star Wars just started up recently, but before that it was all alien movies and whatever. So there's all these theories, like of prophecies coming true. So a lot of people were wondering about all that. And, there was this one lady that was, so the stuff they're talking about is pretty bad as far as the Mayan, and it's like, stereotypical devil stuff. So the idea is like, okay, are they that? I don't believe it, just because I believe that their culture was infiltrated and destroyed, so they could just make it into anything. So the people, this is actually like, if you go to Africa, there's black people. If you go to here, there's brown people. And so when you genocide on people, you can just tell them their history and create their religion, twist things around. So I mean, if you look at the actual history, the way they treated the Native Americans after colonizing them, during the colonization and after, they treated them pretty bad. They did really bad things, the way they burnt them and killed them and tricked them, and all the stuff that they teach you in school about how they took over here. And then the history of the people that are still alive, or our own people that were able to write this stuff down or talk about it, talk about the Catholic Church, what the Catholic Church did to their people, and by oppressing them and their culture. And so the reality of how things happen with who's bad people and who does bad things and devil stuff is, doesn't really show that picture of the rain dance. Like, so they did the rain dance, right? And the rain dance was during Wounded Knee. They were already colonized places, and they had reservations, and if you even just think about that idea of having war camps, keeping people in one place, giving them the place that has dirty water and stuff like that. So the people that were doing Wounded Knee, they wanted to keep their culture and their traditions. They were trying to do the rain dance. They were desperate, and the white folks got scared and they started killing them. So basically their dances and their music and their culture, their language and everything was outlawed, and they weren't able to practice their religions or whatever. So what we know about their religions is very limited to this day. Like I said, I thought Native Americans were extinct, or pretty much until the internet, and learned about all these different reservations, and so there was a change that happened. The internet did change things, social media did change things. So the white folks were scared, and they were scared of me. They were wondering what the hell I was doing, and I don't know exactly what happened, but there was some crazy stuff that happened as far as my dream, not really dreams, but like old dreams, you know, just end of the world stuff or whatever here and there. So but my paintings, things that, you know, had a lot of stuff happened. So my theory, I have my own theories about this. That's what's crazy. So it gonna sound crazy to you guys, but this is all stuff that knowledge, and like, so I learned about other like ancient knowledge, you know. So you got the hieroglyphics, and you got like the Greek culture and the Roman culture, or the Greeks, and so you have like Hercules and Zeus and Thor, and so the Norse gods, and all these hieroglyphic old writings from around the world. And you got so there's all this ancient alien stuff, right? I don't really want to talk about it all because there's too much, and it's all, a lot of it's hearsay. So, but then you got biblical stuff, which kind of the stuff that the giants and, you know, devils and angels, and, you know, like half gods, half human. So some of these stories kind of fit together. So what I was learning was more some of that stuff, and then the Germans, this is what I wanted to get to. The Germans had a lot of this stuff during Hitler time, during World War II, and the people around here, and, you know, the Nazi kind of folk, and, you know, the idea and the whole what do you call that, Lord of the Rings stuff, like they pull from these ancient stories, and they try to make sense of it. And so what the Nazis people did, they were trying to find, and this is what the Black Panther, the movie, just put out too. So it's something that people are really interested in, and the government seems to be like into it too, because they're, you know, they're doing their space stations and their astrological stuff, like Tesla's doing their rockets or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff going on, you know, the whole changing of weather, a lot of stuff, you know, America, so much stuff is happening that it's like, but let me try to just talk about this 2012 stuff. But in the Black Panther movie, they talked about the El Dorado, right? And El Dorado, really the stuff has a lot to do with gold and just like what's on the earth and how we relate to the earth. You know, dragons, where they talk about dragons, where dragons were caretakers of gold, you know, and the Europeans were killing the dragons, and then the Aztec and the Chinese were like hanging out with the dragons and riding the dragons, and like have little hieroglyphics of dragons and whatever. And in the Bible, where it's like serpent, the great serpent, you know, watch out for that dude, and then he's a devil. And so there's like a lot of, yeah, and then dinosaurs themselves, you know, like, so there's a lot of human history talking about these giant serpents, you know, or giant dinosaur flying dragons, kind of like Avatar, like. So there's a story about brothers, these 4 brothers and a sister, kind of like the Ninja Turtles. So, and something about, so you got the 4 seasons, right? And you got the 4 races. So there's a lot of like that idea. Changing the seasons, you know, like the Renaissance happened, and then, you know, civilizations rise and they fall, depending on. So there's a lot of fear for the white folks where they're worried, you know, they killed Tupac or whatever. They, you know, they were always worried about like some black dude rising up and being a prophet or whatever, being some dude. So they're, you know, the CIA and whatever. There's some relevancy to this stuff where they fear brown, black folk. They don't want some crazy shit, because this isn't a colony. This is, you know, where there's still a lot of brown folks around here. So the white folks are, you know, like Africa right now, like there's a lot of fighting going on there because they want to keep it colonized, you know. Same thing with Hawaii, same thing with Australia, Same thing with Puerto Rico, like, you know, all these places that are colonized. Like India was colonized at the time, and they, you know, Gandhi came and was like, hey, you know, you guys need to get out of here, or whatever. This is India. You know, all the different places around the world. So it always kind of reverts to the original people. So that's what they're worried about here. But it's been, America is like very different. Kind of like animals, like when they migrate, and then they, like, you could put a certain kind of fish in a pond or lake, and they'll kind of take over, and then the algae will do. So things change, things evolve. So that's one of the things. So there's a lot of like I said, Lord of the Rings kind of. So the Germans were looking for like El Dorado, right? So Hitler, this is stuff I actually read in books or whatever, like the alt-right, or I don't know what they're called. But they're kind of like this thing where Germans were fighting against English, right? And so the white folks during World War I and World War II, the height of their civilization, they were like seeing who the boss is, and they were like fighting, warring with each other, created the atom bomb. Jewish people were there, you know, the white folks are killing white folks, and so so the English won and America won. So the Germans are now like so Hitler, they say he didn't die. They say Hitler will actually survive, and he went to South America because he was looking for, because they believed, I guess, in black magic. They were doing a lot of like the dark arts or whatever. They were doing like stuff that had to do with not biblical stuff, you know, like, I don't know what it was exactly, I don't have, but you know, they talk about it. You can watch a documentary on all that stuff, but it's not all true. There's, you know, there's bits and pieces of history that you can look at. So like seances and all that stuff, like, you know, using the human mind to create magic or science, or magic and science, where does it meet? So they were practicing all that, like England, like the Catholic Church practices it, you know, like it's really prevalent in our religions, and so there's power in the soul and the spirit and the groups of people chanting and the rain dance, whatever. So they just utilize it, and they use symbols, and our cities are built on these like numbers, numerology. So like there's power in these numbers and architecture, and like that's the thing with the pyramids. They were tripping on, like, you know, the precision of where they're placed on the earth and from the sky, and so like I said, all this ancient alien stuff. So everyone was tripping on that. Everyone was thinking about it. The internet like shared all this, like, had all this information. So it was really the height of it, and it's weird because people don't really have that going on right now. But during that 2012, it was like really like hysteria. So the people around here, all my friends, were like kind of like wondering about me, like, oh, you know, like, so they were kind of putting that stuff on me, and seeing me as they called it the vision, like how, and then they called it the messenger. So they were like saying I had, you know, Sarah was like, oh, you know, like calling me again Darth Vader. So you know what I mean, like, so the white people fear was, you know, about Ishi. You know, is Ishi gonna come and get all crazy, a gentleman genocide or whatever? So they were tripped, and you know, I was pretty open to discuss Native American, you know, the history of the white folk colonizing America, colonizing these lands. So I was like, so I wasn't shying away from the conversation. So that's, I believe, some of the reason I've gotten harsh treatment. You know, it kind of died down at the moment where they don't talk about that really as much as Hollywood does, but like the normal people are trying to just say it's this other stuff. But during this time, it was really more about, you know, I look back and I think about it, I'm like, oh, they were, you know, they were tripping on this and that, but you know, they're just as interested in, they could have, should have, and would have known if I was a fucking crazy, or you know, there was no reason for them to do what they get, to let it escalate to this level, to the level that it did. So, you know, I really believe it had to do with the fear of Native Americans and the I Don't Know More movement locally, and even in Hollywood. Like, you look at Hollywood and they were really going English movement. Everyone was from Britain, even the black people were from Britain. So there was like I said, Lord of the Rings stuff. And these people were still doing it, you know, they're building a wall in Mexico, and like there's all kinds of stuff happening. So that's why I have no fear for talking about this, because it's part of our history. It's not something that just happened. It's not like, and there's some really good stuff that happened as far as some people that deserve to go to prison and jail that are freakos around here and around California and the whole nation. Like, so that's good. I'm glad that hopefully things are changing for the better. Hopefully things are changing for the better. Hopefully innocent people won't be used for things like that. Really bad things like human trafficking and child porn, all that shit. Like, just porn in general. Like, it's a question. Like, people, it's gonna have to be answered. It's gonna have to be answered openly, because it's a place where people don't talk about it, don't want to talk. It's a place where I'm not going to talk about it because it's too crazy. I've talked about it enough where kind of said my stance on some things, but it's too dark in our society, where I believe sex is real, and you know, it's not a bad thing. But yeah, you know, there's some places where you know, marriage, not marriage, our society really doesn't even get married a lot, too much. So I don't know, I don't really have a place to speak on that. But as far as myself and my culture, oh, that's crazy. So here's some Freemason stuff. Hold on. So over there, so there's a Freemason thing. So what's crazy about the Freemason thing, and it seems to be adjacent from Ishi over here. I guess there was some Chinese settlers here too, so there's a big Chinese thing going on over here. So, and now the Hmong people, there's a big group of Hmong culture group people, I don't know how to say it. So anyway, so the Germans, right? So the Germans talk about superhumans, like these Native Americans, like where there's going to be a time where there's going to be a resurgence, and there's the Rainbow Tribe, and you know, it's already 44 minutes, so I think I'm just going to end it, and then hopefully I'll talk more about the specific, some specific prophecies of the Native Americans that I learned about. So this will be part 1. All right, peace.